Hey, welcome to On the Path podcast with Cheryl Nembhard. You know, since I was a kid, I was told my conversations were way too deep. Well, now it's paying off. Join me and the names you know as we go deep into their personal stories of triumph, tragedy, and the lessons they've learned along the way. Friends, this crazy, overwhelming life we live calls for some serious encouragement and inspiration. So grab a cup of coffee and get your notebook because we're going into the classroom of life. So let's get lifted with faith-filled conversations. I'll see you on the path.
You're listening to On the Path with Cheryl Nembhard, brought to you by Compassion Canada.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of On the Path. I am so excited to have you here. Guys, it's a new season and we are taking things up to a new level. And let me tell you, speaking of a new thing, let me tell you, God is doing a new thing in this powerhouse. You need to know the name Canada. I cannot wait to introduce you to the voice, the powerhouse, the gift that is Doe Jones. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Dominique Jones is an American gospel singer and songwriter, best known for her family group, Forever Jones. That is our family's favorite group. She doesn't know. Grammy Award winner and her 2022 debut album, Clarity, which included the Billboard #1 gospel single, Brighter. She's raised by pastors in a musical family. She started singing and songwriting as a child and eventually launched a successful solo career. And today we are talking about her life, all that she's learning, and her latest album, Heart of a Human. Would you give a huge Canadian welcome to the one and only Doe Jones?
Hey!
Let's go!
How you guys doing? Yeah.
Doe, it is so good to have you here. Welcome to On the Path.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. And Canada, I love you.
And she does, guys. She's been here in Langley, BC, and we are trying to get her into the what we call the Six, the Toronto heart of Canada. I cannot wait. But listen, this streams globally everywhere, so you have got to get to know the music and the life behind Dominique Jones. I cannot wait for you to hear this conversation and get to know a little bit about this incredible artist. But I think first I'd love to start here. I always love to ask this as a fun introduction. So, Doe, if your life was a movie, what would it be titled?
If my life was a movie, it would be titled Keep Moving Forward.
Ooh.
Or something like Forward Motion.
Ooh, please share a little bit on why.
I think that's kind of been the reigning theme for like internally. If you were just watching me externally, maybe that wouldn't be it. But my mother noticed as a young child that I had a tendency to get overwhelmed and just give up. And so she instilled this fight in me. And, she had me watch this movie called The Robinsons. And it was just this whole thing of like, if you just keep taking one step in front of you, you will find yourself at some point at the finish line. And so that's kind of been my life's like theme. Just keep moving forward.
Absolutely. And we're seeing that. We're watching the fruit of that, actually. And you have such an authentic sound. There's such a purity and an authenticity that comes from your voice. And I know that that's the way you live. We see it. There's no fake and phony with you at all. And I feel like that comes through in your music. And we're talking about your latest album. I love it. Heart of a Human. Speaking of heart, what was the heart behind that album?
It's so crazy because it was supposed to be, it was supposed to go in a different direction, that second album. And we had some twists and turns and so many changes. And in some ways it was kind of gutting for me to think what a thing is going to be. And then you have to change it because you're not the only one making decisions on your behalf when you're a signed artist. And so we as the team just pivoted a lot. And when we got to the end, I was pregnant. I was about to have my child. I was a new wife as well. It was just a new season, like a whole year and a half, just like a new season. And it just seemed like this is me putting on a platter like my human heart, and how God is not intimidated by that, nor is he afraid or surprised by the things that I'm feeling and articulating, as long as I bring them to him and we wrestle and work it out together. Does that make sense? And there just was so much beauty in that season. It was gruddy, it was hard, it was human. And we were just texting back and forth, like, what do we think it should be called with my label? And everybody liked Heart of a Human, and it just kind of was like a full circle thing, because I was also pregnant with a heart of a human. So it was just a really, it's funny how we just obey and move forward, and we think it's just a big mess, and then God starts connecting dots, and we realize that he had this like thread, you know what I mean, that just tied it all together.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that so much. And that album went on to do incredible things. Could you share? I know I want you to drop the big one, but share just how well it did. And then also, how did that change you, or did it change you in any way?
I think that life changed me, and I just expressed that in songs. And obviously we won a Grammy, and I say we because it was for album of the year. It wasn't one specific song. It was like my label, my management at the time, all of the writers and producers had all kind of put their hands on deck to make sure that this album and every song had what it needed to live and communicate whatever message we were trying to communicate. So yeah, it did. It won a Grammy. We were just like shocked, because we were looking at also the lineup. I was telling people like, hey, I might win in this gospel category, but I'm not gonna win this other one. So that's just what I was telling people, because it was just like a no-brainer, But to be acknowledged by my peers in the industry and people who are music connoisseurs, if we can call them that, just means so much. The album also crossed some like genre barriers. It was on the top songs of 2024, like mainstream list, for Spotify.
Wow.
Breathe, the song Breathe on that album was, it just was a really great song. Yeah. I mean, album, really great album. That I didn't know was going to be great, So
I love this, and I already know the answer. So dispel the myth for us, because, once you get Grammy Award winning to your name, how does life change, or does it?
It has not changed for me. I think that I'll say this, the Grammys, and I don't say that to like stomp on a Grammy Award, because I'm obviously so proud, but
yeah,
the Grammys are our Employee of the Year awards ceremony.
Right.
So it's like, we worked so hard on this, and they acknowledge that, and then you have the next day comes and you got to go back to work. Do you know what I mean? And but I will say that there is, you kind of notice small things, like maybe people talking to you differently, or, I mean, I'm sure that there are doors that I'm able to get into with that. It just adds some weight and notoriety
Absolutely.
to your name. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah.
And so we're really thankful for that. But I had a baby, so I was like, just getting the engine started again. We haven't really, that's why I hadn't changed. We just started it.
There is nothing that says humility than winning a Grammy and then going home to change diapers.
Listen, I wasn't even there. I was at it. Listen, because I had went on, what do you call it when you come off
maternity leave?
I was on maternity leave. You know what I mean? So I was not able to, I couldn't afford to like go and do all. So I was like at work. We was at the airport, and I had my baby in a sling on my body.
Oh my
When
gosh.
I looked down and saw all these text messages and a FaceTime call, and I was like, I think we won. So I was holding my greatest accomplishment while getting this phone call. It was just like so cool.
Yeah, though.
Couldn't believe it.
I love that. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
It's just so well deserved. I wonder, because there's so much intention you do behind things when you were putting the album together. What was your hope for the album? What was your prayer that it would do what in someone's life?
I wanted to speak to people. I understand now that my gift is that I'm able to give people language and permission to say things that they are afraid to say, or to help them say things that they don't know how to articulate in the moment. And so that's always my prayer. I can't give you an overall statement album-wise, but I know that there were specific songs there because of my journey with the years prior to the album and what I was walking through and writing the song. I know that this album spoke to mental health in the church. And I know that that was just a reigning theme when I was on the road and touring or just singing in different rooms. I was constantly talking about mental health. It was like God just put me on assignment.
Yeah. Wow. So thankful for that. And when you think about your ministry and sort of like, I love that mission field that you're called to, does your heart beat more for a particular demographic, age group? Talk to me about that a little bit.
I can't say that it does. And for some people, they feel called to a specific group of people. I just didn't know that God was going to throw me up on the stage and say, you need to tell this story. I need to talk about it. I had no idea that he was going to platform that message and me be the megaphone. It was scary for me because I don't have a degree in mental health. I felt like, what do I have to offer? All I have is a song and maybe a hug when I get out there. Right. And that was enough in that setting. And when I tell you that, like, I would get on stage, I would tell the story behind my last song, which is called So Glad We Met. And I would talk about how hard it is for Christians to talk about mental health. And it's getting easier and easier as people are sharing their stories. But I would say things like, hey, you can take medicine and believe for healing. And the medication can be your healing, and the Holy Spirit can walk with you through that. It does not mean that you're not seated in heavenly places, right? Come on, though. If you have to take medication, if that is your journey. Wow. And I cannot tell you how tense the room would get every time I would say that, right? When I'd say, you can take medication to be quiet, and I'd say, and the Holy Spirit is with you, and they go, because they're comfortable with the word Holy Spirit, but not the words medication or depression or anxiety. Right. But when I got outside, I thought I was going out there because my t-shirts weren't selling. I'm just going to be honest with you. When I got out there, every night, there was a line of people waiting to talk to me, to say, please don't stop talking about this. Hey, I tried to take my life 2 years ago and I lived through it, and I'm here, and I just need you to know that you have to keep talking about this. Or, hey, I told my church that I was depressed and I got kicked out. One girl came up to me and was like, I'm a pastor's daughter. She was shaking. She was like, I just got out of the psych ward, but I can't tell anyone because my parents are pastors and they're well known. And I know they would be ashamed if anybody found out, and I'm a PK, so I just hugged her. It's such a weighty thing. I just felt like, what do? I'm not a pro, so I talked to my friends so I could make sure I was responsible with those moments. But you know what I mean? Yes, so that's what this album carried. Yeah. So good.
Yeah, so good. I feel like I love asking when I get incredible artists like yourself, and I've been just really humble. And I put you up in the category. I've had, Joel Barnes, Naomi Rain, King and Country. All of them have been passed through these waters here. And I get to ask them the same question that I'm asking you right now, because I feel like you're going to bring just a different heart to it. When you hear the word worship, and I feel like this answer probably changes based on seasons and where God's taking you. But now, in this moment, what does it mean to you?
I will say this, that I feel like once I solidified what it meant to me and what it was always going to mean, that hasn't changed. It is going to be a lifelong posture of surrender in every area. And once you get that, then, everything else flows from that place, right? This posture of surrender, that's it. And I think it allowed me to, anytime I might feel like imposter syndrome, right? Or if I feel like, what am I doing here? They invited me here. What is, you know what I mean? What is my purpose here? It's like, hey, like, you have relationship with Jesus. You are his daughter. You belong to him. And that's the place that you are ministering from, not your knowledge, not your intellect, not your depth and how Christian you are. Like, he sent you there. Share what you have. And I feel like that just took the pressure off of me to be, or I'm sorry if you can hear my baby in the background. He just woke up from a nap. But that's a beautiful sound to me. That's his worship.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's my simple explanation of the word.
Yeah.
And
Oh no, I love that.
Yeah, and if I can say this in a congregational setting, I do think that worship is this ever revolving door of revelation and response. We learn something about God and we respond, or he shows us something about, I don't know, ourselves that needs to change or needs to be laid down, and we respond correctly. And so I'll throw that out there as well.
I love that. And for the person who is really struggling right now to worship, what would you say to them?
I would say you are probably struggling in times when I have struggled to worship. It has been because there is a way that I felt like I was supposed to present myself to the Lord. And it may have been a specific scenario, like that I was internally angry about something and unable to be real about those things, or thinking that I needed to pull all that together and I just need to be grateful and then I'll come to God and worship from, you know what I mean? And I think that surrender looks like bringing it all and putting it all on the table. And so I would say to that person to come as you are, and not the way you feel you should be presenting yourself to him.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's so wise. I love that. Thank you for that. That's so good. And I've been so excited to ask you this question, so I'm going to take it all the way back, to your family band. I'm going to take it back to your family band forever. If you don't know,
Yes.
Doe hails from gospel royalty, coming out of the incredible family band Forever Jones, with the anthem "He Wants It All." I'm going to tell you that song, and I'll try and keep it together, impacted my family in so many ways. I can't even get into it. Every car trip, every road trip, every hard season, anytime we gathered for prayer and we needed answers, we would play this song. Before that, it's full circle to me, because you were just a child. Like, can we say that honestly, right? You were just a child. And here I was, a young mother, and now it's like full circle. You're this incredible woman and mother yourself, your beautiful baby in the background, and now God's launching you out on your own. I just want you to know, first and foremost, that it was more than a song. For so many of us, it was an altar call. It became an anthem. And I know that you know that, and people still talk about this song. It's just unbelievable. I wonder, how did that season in Forever Jones shape you, good or bad, things that maybe we weren't aware of, but just like that time? And did you even understand what you had created with that song?
No, I did not understand what I had created with that song.
You're like, short answer, no.
No, because I was thinking this. we'd be saying, we just be prophesying or saying what the Lord is speaking to us, not knowing that it's going to come back around in another season and minister to us. You know what I mean? Isn't that how he does it? And so I was 17 when I wrote that, and I just was like, I'm a kid, and I will say this, like at 17, there's a level of like angst and surrender and just all out, just radical praise, young praise, and that you can give God at that age, because the cares of life, hopefully, this is not the story for all of us, but the cares and the weight of life have not taken that, kick the wind out of you like it can when you an adult and you carrying responsibilities. You know what I mean? You learn to lean on them in a different way as an adult. And so I really did have, and I hope I'm not sounding like I've backslidden in saying this, but when I was 17, we had experienced revival in my school. I was watching drug addicts get delivered, and in the middle of class getting called out because somebody wanted to get filled with the Holy Spirit. You know what I mean? At 17. And so I'm experiencing that. I was fasting and praying, and so I love that God gave me a song that will never go away, will always remind me of a place in him that I had and will forever have access to as well, in a way, like. So no, I didn't understand. It just, will have no excuse if I ever forget surrender, You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
So I didn't know. And so anyway, I love that.
I love that.
He can speak through you things that you haven't fully grasped yet.
And that song literally took you around the globe, like literally the amount of performances. I can't even imagine how many times you've performed that song. It like, do you feel like that prepared you in some way for this moment, this ministry moment by yourself?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's funny because that song is trending on TikTok right now.
Is it really?
I cannot believe it. It is trending with young kids.
Love it. A new generation. Come
Yeah,
on.
it's really sweet. But I was telling somebody the other day, and this may not be powerful to anybody else, but I was like, God prepared me to be me.
Wow.
Even the moments that I just was like, I really want to escape from this situation right now as a young person, or where I felt like the pressure was too great, God prepared me to be me. And he just knew the tools that you were going to need in your pocket to be you, all of who you are. And so whether it's Forever Jones or even the school that I went to, my pastor, their church owned a school, and because his kids were in a band early on, he understood the sacrifices it was going to take. And he told those teachers, when you get them prepared to leave town and give them their homework before, or you let them make it up when they get back. But this is the kind of school that we are, and we send people out into the mission field. And, you know what I mean? So who just has that, so God really, and they're a great school. I mean, they were playing football against secular schools. And so God prepared me to be me. I learned so much but I'll say this, I don't have any I have political experiences that happen with labels and things when we were in Forever Jones, but my parents shielded us from a lot. They didn't want us to soak up the offense. They were pastors, so I think that was such a smart
Very wise.
Because if I had known, I'd have been so bitter. You're already struggling because you don't understand, because there was a moment where we got dropped and we lost everything, and it was very hard,
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that vulnerably. And I'm also really super thankful that it didn't singe your heart to the point that I'm done. Like I'll never do ministry again. You are here and being used in such a brilliant way. So you opened your heart again to saying yes to music ministry. And we are being blessed because of that. So thank you for that. Well, I want to go a little bit deeper while we have a couple of minutes. I always say here that storms are our greatest teachers.
Yeah.
The applause, the Grammys, the lights, the sparkle, all of that's wonderful, but it's in the valley, right? It's when your back's against the wall that you learn some things, that you grow, that you get deeper, that your faith strengthens, that your hope gets ignited. And I feel like it's in the storm that we learn a lot about three things: ourselves, really who God is, because we could sing about it, shout about it, but it's in the valley that we actually like, oh, he's a healer, he's a provider. So I wonder, in the storms of your life, in the rock bottom moment of Doe's life, what did you, Dominic, learn about yourself? What did you learn about God in those hard moments? And if you could answer this, what did you learn about the community around you?
I want to start with community because I'm like in this just moment where God is like, I want to get emotional, but he's like ministering to me about community.
Wow. Whew.
And it is that I will never be my best self outside of community. I have this thing where it's like, oh man, like I don't like the fact that I'm doing my best when I know people can see me. Do you know what I mean? Like when I'm doing my, like I had this moment, this is going to sound like a rabbit trail, but even if it is, it's going to mean something. Like if I have somebody come over to my house, and I think most of us are like this, we're going to like really clean up. Unless you're a cleanie, you're going to go over and above.
Yeah.
And just in my own nature, I just took it way deeper than it needed to go. But I was just thinking, I don't like that, I do this because somebody's going to see it. I don't like that I just do it because people are, going to be able to see the inside of my house. And maybe I should invite people over all the time, and then my house will always be clean. This is where my brain is going. And I just felt like the Lord like spoke to me that that's human nature, and that we are created to have accountability. And that some people might look at that and be like, oh, you're being fake because that's not who you really are. That's just who you are when people are watching. No, it is that community calls you up to a higher standard, and we flourish in that. We flourish in community. We are wired to flourish when people are surrounding us and can see inside. And it just was something that God was speaking to me about today. You know what I mean? And I came to this realization, and I'll say God brought me to that. You will never be your best self outside of community.
So good, Doug.
And it does not mean that you're fake. It means that you are human. And so I'm really thankful for that today. God gave me that today. What I learned about God. I can say that that's what I learned about myself and community is what I just said. What I learned about God in storms is that God is not waiting to meet me on the other side and congratulate me and say, you did it. You did it. You pressed through. He wants to walk through with me. And I think that once we realize that, we can actually process and really wrestle with God. And you may not get an answer, but you will get help, and you will have a hand to hold. And I think that God leads you to community just to bring it, back around. Even though that storm may have hurt you so bad that you didn't think you could trust anybody else, He gonna lead you back to community again. Anyway, yeah. So it's that He's not waiting on the other side. He wants to walk through. In times where I tried to to skip it and just meet him over there and be spiritual and say, I'm here, God, I thank you, Lord. Just pray, pray so loud I can't even hear the story. He takes my hand and he's like, hey, okay, we're going to go back around because you got over this, but you didn't walk through it. And there's some things I need you to see, learn, and we need to re-break this bone because it didn't heal right and it's going to hurt. But I need to help you with this. That's what I learned about God.
Doe, I'm so loving this conversation with you. I feel like we want to just kidnap you. If you're looking for Doe Jones, she's in Canada. We have her. We're holding on to her forever because she is such a
Don't
gift.
tempt me with a good time.
Oh man. Oh, listen, and I know you love to have fun. Just looking at your social, you are fun loving. So it's work and play, it's ministry and laughter, and I know you have this beautiful balance with your family too. So I thought we'd have a little fun over here,
Okay.
in a cool way. So I'm going to name a couple of tracks off of your album, and I'd love for you to just first give me one word, just that just sums up that song, and then just share a little story about that song. That'd be great.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So one word that just kind of sums it up, and then just unpack. So here we go. Okay. Holy Hands. The word for that song.
Oh, salvation.
Ooh.
I mean, it's literally just the story of salvation. I love that. And I love that I was kind of in this moment where I was wanting to be able to clearly communicate how and the process of being saved and what that looks like. So then verses, I sat with Jonathan McReynolds and we kind of just like worked through that. The things that needed to be in there and that needed to be said. Baptisms in there, him putting the deposit of his spirit in us. And now I have holy hands and I can approach the throne boldly. So
come on.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love that so much. How about the So What with Lecrae?
Oh my gosh. So what? That was so much fun. I went into a word.
Would be fun.
A word, yeah, fun. Okay, great, yeah. I went into the studio with my brother and he had this track and he was like singing, so what? So what? And I was thinking to myself, what could I say so what about that the Christian community would be okay with me saying so what about? And I was just thinking about how hard it is to not get sucked into the comment section. I hate it when people are just mean. And that is the moment where you see me struggle to jump in. I'm like playing double dutch and the Holy Spirit is going, come here. And I'm going, but come here, shut your mouth, or typing out responses and deleting it. And so I just wrote a song about it and it was fun.
Love it. Ooh, and lastly, Breathe.
Breathe is gonna be existing. That's another song about mental health. I struggle with ADD and there are crashes that come with that sometimes. And because I so love knowing that I'm producing and making and giving to the earth and I think that is attached to my value right here, being here. That song reminds me that me existing and breathing, talking to God, that I don't have to produce every day, that I'm not a slave to production, but I belong to Christ. So.
Oh, I love that. Gosh, I love that. Well, last one, kind of different, but on the album, what was the easiest or hardest track to put together?
All of them were pretty easy. I'm going to say the easiest one was Show Me. Show Me I wrote up in the sky on a plane.
No way.
Yeah. My heart was broken for someone that I loved so dearly, realizing you can't fix someone who's going through something really deep. Wow. And hearing and realizing that my mother and my grandmother taught me how to pray, and that this will break me, but I'll be found on my knees with the Lord. It's saying, you have to show me how to walk through this with somebody.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. Doe, thank you so much for giving us that personal kind of behind the scenes heart behind some of these songs. That's so beautiful. We needed
Thanks.
that. Your future is so bright. It's like
Thank
it's
you.
blazing. We need sunglasses for where God's
So
taking
sweet.
you.
Thank you.
What's new on the horizon? What can we get excited about? What are you excited about?
I'm so excited about my worship album that's coming out. It's not coming out; it will be, but we're writing for it, and I have not done a worship album. I have featured on other worship projects, but if you follow me, then you know that about 70-80% of what I do is leading worship in spaces, and so now I get to sing songs from my heart, and so you guys can be praying for me in that. And then, of course, I'm just traveling and singing different places.
Absolutely. Oh, exciting. Listen, as we get ready to wind down, would love to just ask you just one more time, just how we can track with you, socials, website, anything you want to tell us to keep connected.
Yeah. You guys can follow me at Doe Jones Music on Instagram, on X, and just type in Doe to YouTube and I should pop right up. And then you guys can follow me on my community. If you just text the number 318-413-6030, and you'll get kind of a more inside look at kind of where I'm at and just maybe some songs that have not been heard. Just fun little things here and there.
Oh, you are such a breath of fresh air. So authentic and such a reflection of like God's love and joy. Being in your presence is just so beautiful. I've got a surprise question. It's my last question, and it's literally just to finish this sentence. So,
Uh-oh.
and I ask every guest,
Okay.
and the answer is always different, which I love. Kind of in light of our conversation around like worship, mental health, just all your life lessons, just finish this sentence. Doe, it's time for what?
It's time for...
It's time.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No.
I was going to repeat it again. I love that you got it. You're a writer. You're like, yes, it's time for what, Doe?
It's time for you to be whole.
I can't.
That's it.
Do you want to unpack that or just leave it where it is?
I can. I think we try to get healing for the next season, or when I was single, it was like I gotta be whole for. I'm trying to prepare myself to be a good mate or to be this or to be that, but it's like no, just like do it for you because you need to be whole, and when your why sets in, like when you finally realize what your why is. And realizing like I need to do this because it's God's best plan for me right now. Not best plan for me for that, but for me right now.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to do and to like lock in and get it done. Anyway, so that's just what came to me.
Doe, I'm going to flip it on you, flip that question on you, and I feel like you're good for the answer. Doe, what is it not time for? What is it not time for?
It is not time to compare.
Ooh, yes, ma'am. And on that note, yes, and I think comparison it robs us of our call, robs us of our gifting, our joy, always looking over the shoulder, right?
Yeah, and it's an intentional change. It's not something that just happens, right? You have to be intentional about turning that off. So it's never time to compare.
So I'm so thankful for you, and I love the space that you inhabit. But I'm telling you, if you ever write a journal, if you ever write a devotional, anything like that, I'm so excited for your next. We loved having you. We hope that you come back to On the Path.
Thank you so much. That's really encouraging to me more than you know.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Doe. You are such a gift.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to On the Path with Cheryl Nembhard, brought to you by Compassion Canada.